All right, guys. Doc Jones. We're here at the Doc Jones Studios. This is my buddy here, the Stormtrooper. He's protecting out, looking out for me. The Anunnaki. It's the Anunnaki. Look out. I'm going to talk about the Anunnaki here in just a little bit, folks. But here we go. Doc Jones coming at you, folks. What are we looking at? April the 15th. Yeah, April the 15th, 2020 years we're talking about tonight. Or so they want us to believe, 2020 years. Oh, Lord. So this guy's looking out for me tonight, folks. Globalist agenda at work. You know, what is going on? You know, we hear all kind of things that are going on right now. Well, I'm really not even going to really touch on that tonight. I've got some other information I'm going to bring right at you tonight. And one thing has to do, of course, with what? What do sometimes I talk about? Meteors. Meteor impacts. You know, y'all can check me out at DocJones79 on Instagram. I posted a picture of that huge meteor impact over there in Nigeria. And we got more coming like that. We've got a debris field coming. And more impacts are coming, folks. You can even go and look at other impacts over in Russia back in 2013. A huge meteor impact there. But we got to be careful. You know, we could have a natural disaster taking place as well. And natural disasters could range from all kind of different things, but I'm really just even seriously just talking about meteors impacting. And going into that, folks, you know, Elon Musk has discussed this. We do have 1998 OR2. It's over 3 miles wide, coming at us on the 29th of this month. Possible debris field with this asteroid. I mean, they're still saying it's coming like 6 million miles away from the Earth, and I've heard 3 million miles, and we don't really, well, I'm sure somebody knows, but sometimes it is hard to tell the exact, the exact distance, we're looking at. The size is pretty accurate, but we're wondering about a debris field from that. Again, Comet Atlas, it appears to be breaking apart, appears to be in about three pieces or so that we can see from Comet Atlas. It is disintegrating. This thing, again, has a 6,025 to 6,030 year orbit around our sun. Unbelievable. But folks, yeah, the Anunnaki, I'm going to get to that, folks. I'm going to discuss one of the main reasons why we had the first Gulf War and kind of some things that occurred there in Baghdad. So we're going to move on a little bit, folks. So, in my last video, I discussed about, manifestations, war in heaven. Well, if we really pay attention, folks, to our magnetosphere, to our Schumann resonance, those are two things that we can look at daily, as long as they're not down, the system's not down, but we can look at that. We can see the frequency levels. We can see some stuff that's occurring around our Earth and our atmosphere around the Earth, and taking a look again, folks, the magnetosphere and the Schumann resonance. Take a look at those every once in a while. You can go on the internet and check those out, and you can really kind of see the war in heaven, the war in the heavens. It's very interesting and very unique to see, because frequency is a big deal, and we can check some stuff out. So check those two things out when you can, folks, and I'll discuss more about those two things later on. We're seeing an uptick in quakes as well, an uptick in quakes. And I mean, there's so many abominations that are going on the earth. It's just, there's so much going on, folks. God, he's getting ready to judge the nations, and here in the United States as well. But he does have a plan for us, for his remnant. And he will, folks, he's going to pour, and he is now. He is pouring out his powers on the remnants, on this age to come, this age that we're in, this end of the age. Folks, it's really amazing what he's doing for his body of believers, for his remnant. It's, you just look at it, and I want to kind of put it in words, like we see what occurred in the scriptures, in the Bible. We see the miracles and different things, miraculous feats that occurred. Well, I believe, in this time here, in the end of the age that we're coming up on, that the powers that God will instill in us, the remnants, will really brightly shine. It will be even more miraculous here in these last days of what the remnants are going to do and are doing now. And, God's putting his powers out on the remnants of the age that we're in, the end of the age, like I continue to mention. And, folks, just seek him and read his word. And I'm going to continue through here. We're going to dive deep. We're getting ready to dive deep, folks. Again, I'm getting carried away here, but let me go over a little bit of information as well. We're looking at the population, 7.8 billion, the population as the UN estimated on April of this year, 2020, that we're in. Last March, it was 7.775, the population of the entire Earth. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This month, with everything that's going on, whether we all believe all of it's true or not, the population count just recently, as of, I believe, Sunday, this past Sunday, the 12th, Easter, the population count went a little bit down to 7,777,777,777. A lot of sevens in there. 7 billion, 7.7. It dropped back down to all sevens. Well, they predict that by the years 2040 to 2050, the population would expand from 8 to 10.5 billion. Now, I asked Google, what's the max population the Earth could sustain? Just trying to ask Google. And Google said, many scientists think that the Earth has a max carrying capacity of 9 to 10 billion. So I guess they don't believe that the earth that God created is big enough for all of us to live in, but I guess they ain't, whatever. Okay, so that was the response. Okay, now we're getting into Tarvaris Jackson, number 7, Tarvaris Jackson. This was my boy. He played for the Seahawks. He has retired several years ago from the Buffalo Bills. He started his career with the Minnesota Vikings, all on the number 7. Well, T-Jack, we call him T-Jack, Tarvaris Jackson, and he passed away in one collision car crash. He was in a 2012 Chevy Camaro that struck a tree and overturned at 8:50 p.m. in Alabama, 7 miles from his hometown in Montgomery, Alabama. And, Tarvaris Jackson, he was a great, well, he didn't play a whole lot. He was a backup quarterback. Again, with the number 7 in all 3 of those teams he played with. But, again, we see that the new population, again, last Sunday, changed to 7,777,777,777. And then Tarvaris passes away Sunday night, the same night that the population went to all 7s, the number 7, Tarvaris Jackson. He was also 7 and 7 as a starting QB for the Seahawks, and started 21 regular games for the Vikings. Again, 21 being 3 7s. But T-Jack, I mean, prayers go out. Mad respect for T-Jack. This was a good man. Very sad to hear the news. It really has not even really hit much of the news with this other stuff that's been occurring. And I'm sorry, folks. I will get to the Anunnaki. I'm about to get to the Anunnaki. I swear. I'm about to get to it. But, folks, again, Tarvaris Jackson, his QB rating was 78.5. His passing yards was 7,263. He was born April 21st, 1983, and he passed April 12th, 2020. April 21st, he was born, died April 12th. He was almost 37 years old. Is it numerology? I hope it was just his time. I hope that all these 7s are just coincidences. But, the number 7 is a very prophetic number. A number of completion. A number that Yeshua uses. So again, all right, we're going to move on, folks. We're getting deep now. The last minutes that I have here, I'm going to try to go deep. The first Gulf War, again, 1990, I believe August the 2nd, 1990, is when the first Gulf War was occurring. And what I'm trying to get to, folks, is there were some other things going on during this Gulf War that America wanted to investigate and secure. And our U.S. military secured ancient documents of the Anunnaki, of the ancient Sumerians. They went to the Bagdad Museum there during the first Gulf War. Excuse me, folks. And they secured these ancient documents. Sumerian and Anunnaki cylinder seals. ISIS apparently was trying to destroy that. They got in there, and it appears they were able to obtain these seals, scrolls that were, I'm not sure the exact appearance of these things. We can investigate through Sumerian and Anunnaki on YouTube, on the internet. We can see, folks, the clay tablets of the Sumerians. They said they date back over 20,000 years. The Anunnaki dating back 500,000 years. But folks, as I'm trying to read the information that was given to me that I came across, again, we can look at Coast to Coast with George Norrie. Israeli News Live with Stephen Ben Noon. We can look at the WTF Files by Mike from the Council of Time, as well as L.A. Marzulli. And a new fella has jumped upon the scene that I have noticed, Shepard Ambellis. Shepard, shout out, bro. Go check him out. I believe he's got an internet site you can check out, and a lot more information is revealed, plus a lot more, because apparently another reason why they went in for the Anunnaki documents and the Sumerian documents is to find out about Planet X. Nibiru, the planet where the Anunnaki reign on. This is just information, folks. I'm a messenger, so just bear with me. But yes, folks, so we can look at some evidence here. There were reports that Saddam Hussein was like trying to rebuild ancient Babylon over there before all of that took place and they captured him. But again, they were looking for these ancient texts, these clay tablets. And apparently they wanted to look at them to investigate, because we see in a lot of ancient texts from around the world that there is some kind of big planet that is continuously seen. And it's not the sun, it's not the planets and the stars and all that. This is a huge planet. This is a binary system. This is a planet that orbits around our sun. Again, I have talked about other YouTube folks out there that have more information. Planet X News has a lot of information, folks on some of these other this binary system. And again, all of us don't agree with all of this stuff, but this is just information, folks. And I wanted to bring it to you again. You know, one of the nicknames apparently was Operation Planet X. I believe that was one of the operations of the first Gulf War, was to go in Operation Planet X and go and retrieve these documents. So, folks, very interesting information. You can do your own little bit of research. We can look at Genesis 6. And we can see the fallen ones, and we can see there were giants in the land. And if you do your research and your homework, a lot of this combines together. And then we see stuff in Hollywood as well. Hollywood's been telling us all kind of stuff that's been going on. And, you know, again, I mean, we got the crystal skull, you know, the last Indiana Jones. The crystal skull, folks, the elongated skulls. This wasn't just made up at a desk somewhere in Hollywood or behind somebody's chair, somebody sitting somewhere and said, well, let's just do this. No, they knew, Hollywood knows, and they knew when they made this movie. And I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones. But, yeah, they know, folks. I'm just bringing it to you, folks. And I appreciate y'all holding on tonight. Thank you for all 34 subscribers now. Thank you. Thank you for all y'all hitting that like button. And all the comments have been great. And I'm going to keep coming at you, folks, because, you know, this right here is coming. Armageddon. You know, that's coming, folks. You know, we got Deep Impacts. That's coming, folks. You can check out the movie Alexander, and you can see what the Anunnaki looks like at the beginning and the end of that movie. I can continue on, folks, but I'm going to let you go tonight. I'm going to come back at you. Hopefully, I can bring you some more news that you may not have even heard about, or maybe you have, but now you know a little bit more. So y'all just hold on tight. Keep those roots, keep your faith grounded tight during these end of days events. Yeshua's coming, and the debris field. Hold on tight.